Welcome to Pivot Parenting, where we help parents of teens overcome regret and disappointment to find peace and connection in every situation. I'm Heather Frazier, your parenting expert. Journey with me to discover effective parenting tips, improve family relationships, and build a brighter future for your kids. Buckle up, things are about to get better. Hey, my friend. Happy Christmas, Adam. I'm dropping this episode December 23rd. So, not Christmas Eve, but the day before Christmas, Adam. I hope that even though holidays might be different than you pictured, you are finding peace and love and connection with those that you love. And if you're not, that you're still finding peace and love in ways that maybe you didn't expect. I'm really excited to introduce you to Alma Galvan of Brainworks. She and I met this past year, and she is a phenomenal human doing amazing work in the world. And one of my top episodes of all time at Pivot Parenting is apathetic teens. And I think that apathy is something we know very little about, other than that we don't like it within our children and even ourselves. And while I have addressed this in other episodes, today is a new and unique angle, and it's a great conversation. I know you're going to love it. And my friend, this is my 299th episode. I'm going to end 2025 with 300 Pivot Parenting episodes. I would love to hear from you what your favorite episode is, what's your best walk away with, episodes that you like to share with other people, and definitely where I can address things better. Any constructive criticism or topics that you want covered that I have yet to cover or cover in a way that is helpful to you, please email me at heather@heatherfrazier.com. I always love hearing from you, my listener. And with that, here's my conversation with Alma. Alma, welcome. We're happy to have you here.
Thank you so much, Heather. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. Now, Alma works with Brainworks, and we've had so many fantastic conversations, she and I. I'm glad that we got to meet each other. Alma, will you introduce yourself for everybody listening?
Absolutely. And truly, truly, I am so honored and so happy that I get to share a little piece of my journey and what I found has helped a tremendous amount. And first of all, like, I really thought, does anybody remember when you were younger and you're like, I know what I'm going to do? I wanted to be a computer programmer. That was my goal. And
Amazing.
right. And then I ended up marrying a little earlier than my plan said. And about 5 years after that, then I became a mom. And little did I know that my kiddos would end up having pretty big challenges. Whew, and I'm even pausing on that because it was the hardest time of my life. When now this is in the 90s. I had two kiddos that I gosh, everything was a struggle. Dailiness was a struggle. Brushing teeth. It's time to go to bed. Oh no. And then later on, I decided that I had to find a way to figure out how to live with that. There had to be something better than what I was living then because the meltdowns were up to 2 hours. My meltdowns was just about the same, but it was internal. You know,
Sure.
as a parent, we don't want to show it. We try not to. Sometimes it
Yeah.
does show, but internally, you're having that meltdown, that worry. Oh my gosh, if they can't do this, how are they going to do that? He's not going to finish school. He's not going to get a job. He's going to be homeless in an instant. It's
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
millisecond.
They'll
All that
never move
happens.
out.
They'll never be able to take care of themselves. Uh,
Yeah.
and so the journey led me to figuring out that there are other additional pieces that can help big time.
Okay. How old are your kids now?
They're 33 and 30.
Okay. And did you ever become a computer expert?
Well, the funny thing, Heather, yeah, it's a funny thing. I am a computer programmer, but I help people program their brain, which is the most
Yeah,
powerful computer, I think, on this earth. So I am a
it
computer
is.
programmer, just not in the way that I thought.
I love it. A lot more nuanced and sophisticated.
Absolutely. And so then my work, what I learned in the research and the searching that I did and how I started helping my children, their change just started happening way faster than like 7 years that I had tried the traditional route. I did OT, I did speech, I did discrete trial, pivotal response, floor time, ABA, you name it. I did a huge amount of the mainstream therapies, programs out there, and nothing was really helping. And later on, Heather, what I learned is that many of the modalities are good modalities, but they were way too advanced for my children, for many children that have difficulty.
Okay. And that's kind of the direction that we're going to go
Yep.
today that I want to speak on is as your kids were going through these different modalities, and of course, for Alma, it's modalities. For us, it might be other aspects of life.
Hmm.
But our kids can feel when they don't measure up or when parents are disappointed that things aren't going the way that they planned or had pictured or hoped for. Obviously, you wanted the best for your kids. That's why you're trying all of these different things, and it sounds like things just weren't giving you the result that you wanted.
Yes, 100%. And so, what I've learned in my journey is that our children, we, as the parents as well, we do the best we can and we really strive to give it our all. But when we
Yeah,
have difficulties, like our children, when they have difficulties, all our incredible effort that we give many times does not measure up to the world, or it seems like that back to us.
the standard, the bar.
Standard, exactly. And
All right. And it's very human when we've tried our best and we feel like we've fallen short or we've been told we're falling short. And again, this can be mental, emotional, spiritual, educational. The most human response is to throw our hands up in the air and say, then I quit. I give up.
100%.
Nothing works. I've tried everything I have been offered. I'm done.
Yes, because that means that there's so much fear within me that what if there is something wrong? I've tried so much, I've tried so hard, and this has been a huge pattern that I've seen in my families that I've worked with, that the child works really hard, but again, they're not measuring up in the sense, right? I'm going to say that. And then when they get into their teen years is when they now are in the stage that they are not going to look at the parents the same way. They look at their peers. And because, again, the parents are the ones that are like, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. I'm
Yeah,
being silly
oftentimes
about it.
parents are the ones saying, you're not measuring up in these ways.
Yes,
And they are now developmentally at a point where they can say, I see where you also fall short. You are
absolutely.
no longer perfect and you are a hypocrite in these areas and you fall short in these areas. You are not the source of all knowledge and all authority. So I kind of don't have to obey you because I see the holes in your argument too.
That's a big one. And again, not having the support that the child needs, then it's like, if I can't be what you want me to be, then I will be the best, worst kid.
Yes, the best worst kid. I will go the opposite direction because at
Exactly.
least I'll be good at that because I'm already winning over there.
Exactly. And so this is a big piece of where then I go, okay, let's pause for a minute as a parent and truly see where can we affect our child in a positive way, the best way possible. And time again, it comes back to us. Nobody wants to hear that. That is like, oh, what? I want to help my child.
Yeah, so I want to break that down even more. Why do you think parents nag, hound, remind, point out what's going on for the parents? Because I think anybody on the receiving side would say, yeah, that's not the best option.
Sure.
But
And
we do it but we do it to other people, our spouse, our kids. So why do you think that is?
well, there's several reasons. One of them is who taught us to do otherwise. So we're
Okay.
repeating a pattern that we saw growing up.
So default mode.
It's a default.
My
That's
mom
what we
nagged
were programmed.
me, Imma nag my kid.
Yeah, I don't know any other way. That is what you're programmed. You have that within you. Even though we say, I'm not going to be like my mom, and then you're like, oh gosh, well, if you program that way, it's the default.
Yep.
The other is that we truly not knowing how to do it in a different way, our fear brain comes on, and then we don't have access to really a creative way, a loving, a gentle way to connect with our child because our fear, it's about us. If so, that's where if we learn to regulate our nervous system, to calm our brain, to calm our heart is one of the most powerful aspects of us, and that generates this energy that absolutely affects and impacts the people around us. So in a way, many people think it's like, oh, you're going the long way, Alma. No, I'm going the short way.
Yeah.
The most effective way to help someone else is by making sure that our energy is as calm, as regulated, as loving, and it even gets better than that, Heather. There is mirror neurons, which I'm sure you've talked about in other podcasts, and mirror neurons are powerful. That we mirror whatever energy we mirror to our child, they mirror back to us. And so then that's how we get to see how they see themselves, how we see them, but it's not conscious.
Yeah.
The bigger part is it's within us. One of the most powerful things that I have experienced is something that's called microchimerism. It's such a simple concept, but it's such a powerful one. If you had a child and it's your biological child, you as the woman, as the mom, have cells from your child from when they were in your womb. That there's an ebb and flow of cells that are shared in utero. And when the child is born, you have some of your child's cells and vice versa. We share. And so when a parent is able to work on themselves, when the mom is specifically is able to then have a calmer energy, they are changing their cells within themselves. So then those cells are like a tuning fork. They share the cells in the child and saying like, hey, I'm at this, I'm vibrating this way, and they will start to vibrate if they are the strongest energy. So it's a really cool way to really affect our child, but we don't even have to tell them to do anything. We start with us first. And then it gets better than that, Heather. Remember that they shared some of their cells? We have our child's cells. So whatever I do, I am changing my child's cells within me. And then they will connect through quantum physics. This has been researched. Lots of people have researched this aspect of it, that then the strongest energy wins and we become a tuning fork. So it's a little at a time that things start to change within us. And then all of a sudden, we truly have a different platform where we can connect with our child. And if we are able to do it that way, we can have an energy that is more loving. A child is going to lean in. Our kiddos, when they're always like what we talked about earlier, that they measure up, well, they're going to push away.
Yeah.
But if that's called tropism. But if a child or if the cells feel like there's something loving, they lean in. And we want our children to lean in, that we become the safe haven where they can come to us. But they'll never come to us if we're always nagging them. We're doing that because we think that that's the way that they're going to be able to be helped, but we're pushing them away.
Hi there. I just want to pause and let you know if you are struggling to make sense of your teen's behaviors, emotions are running wild, and you're looking to turn things around to have the family you dreamed of while rocking them to sleep, I would love to talk to you. I want to give you a special, powerful gift. 30 minutes with me, my friend. You'll walk away with more confidence, clarity, and understanding of what the issue is and your next best step in resolving any situation you bring to me. It's completely free. I love families and want to help yours be wildly happy and successful. Book this call by visiting my website, heatherfraser.com. Remember, Fraser is spelled with a Z-I in the middle. And don't worry, the link is also in the show notes. I look forward to meeting and helping you. Okay, so what I'm hearing is we can help create a system that is fear based and rejection and a belief that we're broken, wrong, something's awful here with our kid.
Mhm.
Or we can support a system that is loving, accepting, nurturing, and supportive
Yes.
with our child from a cellular level all the way up to verbal communication.
100%. Yes.
Okay, so undoing our default setting of nagging, fear based, worry, scarcity, because our child obviously is calibrating, like, I'm never good enough. I've heard teenagers say this, I'm not good enough,
Mhm.
because they're always telling me how I'm getting it wrong. And I think as humans, we also, and you can tell me what you think, if we get 10 compliments and one
Oh,
criticism,
yes. It's that one
the
criticism.
criticism holds a lot more weight.
It does. Yes.
And so to be really mindful of that with our kids and how we word things and approach things and when we do so, right? Not when they're hungry or tired.
And the tone, Heather.
Okay, tell me about tone.
Well, tone carries even more communication than the words by far. It's absolutely more powerful to really kind of start observing. And I have to tell you that there's this one time in my life that I started recording myself and the conversations that I would have. And in my brain, I'm like, oh no, that I did a really good job. And then I would hear the recording, I'm like, oh, I cringed because the tone was so like they're good words, but the tone that I did was it had it had heaviness, it had bleh.
Yeah, just the critical. Okay, it's funny that you would say that because right before you said that, I was like, we should record ourselves so we can hear our tone.
Absolutely.
Because as humans, us and our kids and partners and neighbors, and we all feel very justified in our approach because it's authentic to how we feel and where we're at in that moment. And it's really hard to hear how that's being interpreted because it might not be at all how we intended.
And that's so, so common.
Yeah.
We have, again, there's a lot going on within us and we're doing the best we can,
Hmm.
but we have a lot of the times what I found is that when I would react, I could not respond. When I would
Yeah.
react, it was from that space of a loving space, but it I could not land in a loving way. It wasn't able
Yeah.
to be picked up. And so if I wanted to really have my child be able to take in the love that I have, I really, and it's still a journey, it's still part of it.
Of course.
I have to mindfully be able to be in a space where I can speak and connect with the child, not make it about myself. And many, many times when I would react, it was about that whole scenario, right? If
Yep.
they're not doing blah blah blah, but it really was a mirror back to me that I felt I wasn't enough. Like I wasn't doing a good enough job. I wasn't a good enough mom. I wasn't, there was that frustration. So
Yeah,
that's
that
why,
somehow you had fallen short.
absolutely,
But your frustration towards yourself comes through in your voice, and your kid takes it personally because we're all egocentric and everything means something bad about us.
absolutely.
So then they
Absolutely.
get sassy, so then we feel disrespected.
It's a cycle. And we're going down this rabbit hole that has no end. The fastest way to help our teen, our child, our spouse is by really taking accountability and responsibility for what can you change? What can you do at this moment? And one of the things that I love, Heather, is movement, because movement is our first language. We grew from movement. So movement with an intention is really powerful. It's one of the ways that I teach people to change their belief system by just taking 2, 3 minutes, setting an intention, and doing a movement.
Tell me how that looks in real time, because I'm picturing just putting on some music and starting to dance, and your teenager thinks you're insane.
Mm, you can do that, but probably
Tell
not
me
taken
tell me
in.
how that looks.
So there's different ones. I'll do one that I really like lately a lot that it connects
Okay.
me to my heart because a lot of the day we're in our brain.
Yeah.
Really, our heart has neurons as well. It has over 40,000 very specialized neurons. 25 years ago, that wasn't even known. So that's really cool. So let's do it together. Let's do
Okay,
it.
let's do
So
it together.
this
Tell me.
movement is called Soothing Heart. So we're going
Okay.
to go ahead and put both hands over your heart. And if you notice, we basically are connecting both our left and our right side of our body, which means we're connecting our left and our right side of our brain as well. And so let's set an intention. How about one that just says, I'm doing the best I can, and that is enough.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's setting that intention of I'm doing the best I can, and that is enough. I say it in my mind. I'm gonna say it out loud right now, though.
Yes.
And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a breath and gently press on your heart and exhale through your mouth. And usually you do 2 or 3 breaths. So let's take another breath. I'm doing the best I can, and that is enough. Take a breath and hug your heart. I say hug your heart, press on your heart, and exhale through your mouth. And so, for the sake of our time, just feel that. That to me changes my brain state automatically. And it really kind of reminds me of the magnificence of who we are, just connecting to my heart. Now, let me really briefly tell you what we did. So, if you do 2 or 3 breaths and then change your hands, and if you don't
Uh-huh.
have time for that, just, excuse yourself, go to the bathroom, do this if you don't feel comfortable. I do this now all the time because, in a sense, what happens when you're kind of stunned? Don't you like, oh, oh,
Yeah.
so I don't mind doing this in public. It doesn't look super weird. Um, but there's so much that's happening. One, you are integrating your brain into a whole brain state, which turns on something that's called super learning because of what you're doing in this moment.
The left and right
The
sides.
left and the right sides
Okay.
fused together because this side, the right side, let me say it out loud, right? I'm like, well, you're seeing me, but they're not. So the right side of my brain connects or is able to control the left side of my body and vice versa. But because both of our hands are in both sides, they are now integrating that. So it's your brain is in a hemisync state, which is a conscious unconscious state. It's really funny. But that turns on something that's called super learning. And whatever you tell yourself as you're doing this movement and as you're saying these words, it's going into your subconscious. See how why this is the fastest way to
Okay.
change your brain. I mean, change your child, help your child change because you're going to the root. You are the root. We were not given the best programs for ourselves. How many of us feel like we're not good enough, that we're falling short, that we're not smart enough, I'm not lovable. There's these things are always happening to me, blah, 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 down. So this is a simple way that you can do this as soon as you wake up and set an intention. What do you want today? I have plenty of energy for my day today and I show up lovingly or something like that. Whatever it is that you want, it doesn't have to be anything specific, but the reality and why I chose the intention of I'm doing the best I can and that is enough. It truly is that our we are in every single moment doing the best we can. And we could do a whole podcast on biology and why that statement is real. And so if let's just hold that for a moment. If that is, let's pretend like that you're just taking that as face value and that we are doing the best we can. So is our child. And anytime that we see something that is that they're showing difficulty, that is a huge clue that we're asking too much of something, or they're tired, or the skill is not strong enough for them to be able to do it easily. But it's huge communication. And are we listening? Many times it's like, well, work harder.
So there's an unmet need.
big
And
time.
it's not that the task isn't getting done. That's not the unmet need.
No, there's other things.
Okay.
And I'll say this, lately I've been talking to my group and saying, when you see that your child is struggling, they're really letting us know that they're having a hard time. And so, what if this is going to sound funny, but what if in your mind you go, okay, I get it. Now, break down their age to half their age. How would you talk to a child? Let's say they're 12. Can you talk to them like if they were 6? Now, you're not going to be demeaning, but in your
Right.
mind, you're going to be able to communicate in a way that they can hear you more. That has been really helpful for many of my parents lately, that it's like they're having a hard time. Like, you have to change the way you look at your child,
Yeah.
or you don't have to, but it's
It's
super
helpful.
important.
Yeah. Our son is very tall, and he's always been very tall, and I would have to remind my husband, he's only 6, even
Yes.
though he's really tall. Or when he was 13, he was just as tall as me, but he doesn't have a fully developed brain like me.
Yes.
And so to be able to be more age appropriate, I think is a good reminder.
And I'll say one more thing. How many times have we seen a 50, 60-year-old man or woman act like a 5 or 6, 7-year-old? When we get triggered, when we get snagged, when we get hurt, we
We
revert to
revert.
where
Yeah.
that wound was.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when we see that, can't tell you, if I get 5 cents for every time that somebody says, well, they know better than that. They already know that. I know what's good for me, but I still like cookies.
Yeah. Well, and they don't know in that moment. When our kid feels like a failure, it's a different part of their brain that they're using. It's
Absolutely.
not their logical one. And so to meet them where they're at in that need
Absolutely.
of still feeling safe and loved and accepted, not buying into the whole end of the world theme.
Absolutely. And that to me is probably one of the most sweetest nuggets that we can do to grow within us, that we need to be aware, where is our child, and are we connected to them? And can we create a safe place? Because ultimately, what you just said right now is so powerful. We need to be able to have that connection that is loving, that is supportive, that is safe. And if those are not met, whatever we're doing is really not going to be taken advantage of, no matter what it is that we think. It's like, no, I'll push them to do this.
Yeah, it
You
could be the
can't.
smartest strategy to get things done.
Yep.
But if their nervous system doesn't feel safe,
Well,
doesn't
and I'll
matter.
say one more thing, with because our whole world is so fixed on education, which I love. Education and
Yeah.
Brainworks is an educational program, but when we are learning and our body is not comfortable, our brain can't take in the learning. And I remember learning the timetables under so much stress that later on, as I grew up, then I'm like, what's 7 times 6? And I'm like, I don't know. I literally could not get to the answer. So if I would go into a stress mode, I could remember it. That is not the way that we want to teach our
No.
child. So that's why I like those three things. If you're able to stay loving and have a safe place for your child, anything you do from there is going to be so much more of a benefit. So much more.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is apathy isn't the problem,
No, no.
and that we just need to see where they have an unmet need and then not compare where we think they should be or where their sibling is, and just support and meet their needs
And see,
where
that's
they're at.
100 million% on that, Heather, because if we really pause as a parent and take a look at who our child truly is, and that we just for a moment believe that they are doing the best they can, we're going to look at them differently. And when we look at them, I love that quote that Dr. Wayne Dyer would say. He said, the world changes when you change the way you look at the world. It's a lens. The way that we change lenses is something that we can build on. And one of the things that I do is that with my group is I ask them to look around and see what makes them smile, what genuinely brings a smile to their face, because you cannot be in fight or flight and have a genuine smile. You can have a social smile, but I'm talking about a genuine smile. And can you look around and start picking up the things that you're grateful for, the things that your child is doing that are sweet and loving that you can bring up in your mind. So build
Yeah.
up that space of the goodness that is happening, because the other part, as you were mentioning, you could have 10 things that are amazing, but one thing that is not, guess what? You said it. That one thing is going to trump any of the other
Yes.
beautiful things. So we're going to work on building our ability to pick out, to see, to gravitate towards the beautiful things that they are able to do and that they are doing, and the rest will come.
Awesome. Alma, where can listeners find you and Brainworks?
uh Brainworks, just like what it sounds, but it's WORX. It's with an X, INC. Or you can email me at Alma, ALMA, at brainworksinc.com.
And all of that will be in the show notes. So you
All of
don't need
that
to
will be
write
there.
anything down, my friend.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting.
My pleasure, Heather. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for being here.